This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I think this is sarcasm from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I totally agree, Chuck. All those titles, New York, L.A., and Chicago and Dallas have won in the last few years are just amazing. Just think of all of them. Yeah. Coach B, Chuck, would you be making the same comparison about Green Bay? It's smaller. I did, but Green Bay was an original NFL city. I mean, they go back to the beginning of time, okay? Chuck acts like this is Plainview. It's Oklahoma City. Yeah. Compared to Los Angeles, it is, you know? So...
How do you compare Oklahoma City to Milwaukee?
Well, Milwaukee is close to Chicago, relatively speaking.
Oklahoma City is close to Dallas, relatively speaking.
It is. I view it as when the Supersonics moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City, it was viewed as wow, this is a small town.
And they have embraced
all those NBA. There's no question. It's all Oklahoma City Thunder all the time. It takes all the air out of the room, except for when Oklahoma football's playing. And even then, there's probably some air left in the room. I'm just saying. I'm just impressed by the fact that small of a town is on the cusp of winning what we consider a world championship, even though it really is not a world championship, but we call it that. You know. Call it that. It's okay. I just think it's a good achievement. Jamie, tonight, and I don't know if you'll be dialed in at some point in time early in the third quarter when they announce
period.
Yeah, that's better. Period. When they announce the Stanley Cup is in the building, and then they show it with those guys with the white gloves. Could happen tonight. They could skate the cup tonight, Jamie.
They could.
Florida has a lead in this 3-2 against Edmonton. Well, they'll have it all shined up and polished, and they'll have the white gloves on it. And then maybe sometime around 9:30, 10 o'clock our time, they'll be skating the cup.
Yeah, you hope Edmonton wins instead, just because you want different guys to get to have their fun with the cup, right?
Right, yeah. Get their name on it and stuff like that.
Panther players.
Yeah, those guys
have already got to spend a day or a week with it already.
A day. They get a day. Yeah, the cup's already been to all those different places, or around that area. So, I'm sure that they would prefer to do that. This will take place in Sunrise, Florida, which is that I'm sure that's a pretty small town too. when you think about it,
they play 6-man hockey there.
They might. They might. Sunrise, Florida. It's the principal city of the Miami metropolitan area. Okay.
I heard Oklahoma City has a really good little dribblers program.
I'm sure they do.
That's why the Thunder are so good.
I'm sure they do.
Even though it's a small town.
Yeah.
They just coach them up.
All those NBA children that are running around Oklahoma City. Yeah. Right. No, I'm sure you're right about that.
Mm-hmm. They probably have pips there too.
Oh man. Boy, if I never saw the jump ropers again or the cactus cuties, I think I'd be fine. I would just be fine. I think the cactus cuties are done. I don't think there's anything such as that anymore. I mean, just
the things that get to you just blow my mind. I mean, they're just kids, Chuck.
I know, but
just kids.
But the
It
pits.
shouldn't be that important. I mean, they're just kids out there, and
I know.
They're parents who think their kids are special, just like you think the young phenom.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know.
Super young phenom are also
Little
special.
phenom.
Little phenom. Okay.
We need to get them signed up for all of that.
Parents and grandparents that think it's cool that they're out there on the court.
Mm-hmm.
It really should not be a source of irritation for you. It's
you're probably right.
Halftime.
I know.
Who cares?
I know. I should be paying attention to my halftime analysis.
Yes.
That's what I should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Paying attention to.
Halftime analysis, a.k.a., honey, I'm going to go get a drink so I can go talk to everybody.
I think he's talking about the women's game.
I'm talking about, the Lady Raider game. I'm
okay.
actually supposed to be working, things like that.
Yeah, the men's game, there's no shot. We don't have to worry about that. He's going to find someone that he needs to talk to.
It doesn't take much, I mean, it's shooting fish in a bowl.
No, you just walk down the front row. You'll be talking to the guys you need to talk to.
Chuck, the Thunder once had Westbrook, Durant, and Harden at the same time. I'm aware. More of a surprise they haven't already won a championship with that trio in their prime. Yeah, but they got rid of James Harden when they shouldn't have.
It's crazy that they all came from that little dribblers program there in OKC.
No doubt. Mm-hmm. This Oklahoma City is growing faster than any of those cities. I have the same image of OKC as you, Chuck. However, I'm beginning to recognize OKC as more of a Chicago than a Lubbock. Wow. They're about to have the tallest building in the USA. Okay. But will they be able to fill it? Are they just doing that to kind of have a marker out there, or is it they actually have tenants?
Well, Chuck, a very wise voice once said, if you build it,
they will come.
They will come.
Yeah. There's only so many Phillips 66 executives you can put in one town. But, hey, what do I know? 6:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to T973.com for that, or the mobile app. Do you think most people would, Jeff has mentioned this in the Sports Center, just real quick. Do you think if you said to, people outside our studios, stop cars, hey, did you know the Rangers had the lowest ERA in the major leagues? Do you think people would say, really?
I think people would believe you because they know the Rangers have pitched well. I mean, people that are paying attention.
Yeah.
But they just know that their offense hasn't been great. But
anemic.
Yeah, I think they would believe that.
Okay.
I also think there'd be a good handful of them going, I didn't know the state troopers had a franchise.
Yeah.
Their run production is second to worst in the major leagues, only behind Kansas City, who've scored just 237 runs. The Rangers have scored 265.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is Tuesday, June the 17th, 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with us today in sports history.
So I've been trying to limit this to 5 days every day, kind of find the 5 best. I only got 4 today.
4 things?
4 days to talk about. So I feel like I'm shortchanging you a little bit, and I apologize for that. But that's just the way that it goes. 1960, Ted Williams hits his 500th career home run.
Okay.
1992, Philadelphia 76ers trade Charles Barkley to the Phoenix Suns.
It was like the first attempt at a super team.
The Suns?
Yeah, where you tried to make a bunch of trades to bring in veteran players.
To win, yeah.
Yeah, to win a championship, it felt like, to me. That was where it started. A lot of people look at the Heat with LeBron and Bosh and Wade, but I think Phoenix tried it first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's...
Where do you put the Rockets and getting Clyde Drexler?
I think that was after, wasn't it?
It was right around that. I don't know if it was right after, right
Barkley
before.
was on that team too, wasn't he?
No, well, after. Barkley came after they had won the 2 titles.
Yeah, I think that came after Phoenix tried.
And I felt like the Drexler stuff, that's kind of different because he was going back to Houston where he had played college basketball. And he was just, they already had the core of the team.
Yeah. And Pippen went there too.
Mm-hmm. They didn't win a title there either. 1994.
Scotty won one in Chicago. And
Yeah.
by one, I mean 6.
6, yeah.
1994.
1994. Arnold Palmer plays his final round at the 1994 U.S. Open.
I did some bad math the other day because I was watching the 30 for 30 on this day in 1994 that included the opening of the... Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, I discovered, and I was watching the old man Arnold Palmer swing and labor up the golf course there at Oakmont, was where that golf tournament took place, his final U.S. Open, where they just played the U.S. Open. And I said to myself, God, I wonder how old Arnold Palmer was then. And yeah, he's my age right now. I mean, he's like a month younger than me. You know, when you compare the year to
your last round at the U.S. Open yesterday.
64. Yeah, I probably would look a lot worse than he did.
A lot of people look a lot worse than he does playing golf, even today.
Why is this sobering?
Because I looked at him and thought, man, look at that old man playing golf. He's laboring and how bad his swing looked and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought, well, I wonder how old he was. And I discovered he's my age. He was my age then, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks."
So now Chuck is realizing that he's the old man on TV.
Well,
playing golf with the US
Open. Because I work with a bunch of younger people, like you guys, and even younger. I don't really consider myself to be elderly. I know sometimes my actions and words and things that I do kind of put me in that vein, but
I'm falling down and breaking your head.
I still feel like I'm like 42.
On this day, 1994, the commencement of the 1994 FIFA World Cup was announced, where the U.S. would host for the very first time. Oprah Winfrey and Bill Clinton were presenting.
Yeah, it's at Soldier Field there in Chicago.
On this day in 1994, New York Rangers celebrate their 1994 Stanley Cup Finals victory with a ticker tape parade on Broadway. On this day in 1994, Game 5, NBA Finals between the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks. Knicks would win 91-84 in Madison Square Garden. If you watched this game, you were so rudely interrupted by a split screen of Tom Brokaw describing a police chase in Los Angeles. About 1,000 police cars chasing a white Ford Bronco at 35 miles an hour down the freeway.
We're back to Bob Costas now at the Madison Square Garden.
Most NBC affiliates did do split screen coverage and had the audio of the chase as opposed to the audio of the play-by-play of the game.
Split screen or just like the picture-in-picture?
No, it was a split screen. It was like a half OJ and half Patrick Ewing. And the Knicks.
I remember a picture-in-picture where I was watching.
Okay.
And later that night in 1994, Ken Griffey Jr. ties Babe Ruth's record for the most home runs, 30, being hit before June 30th.
Wow.
And the team's 65th game of the year in the 1994 Major League Baseball season didn't have to worry about hitting 60 that year because
there was a strike.
There's a strike later coming soon.
Yeah.
And in 2011, former Red Raider Josh Tomlin delivers a 6 2/3, 6-hit, 1-run outing and a 5-1 Indian win over the Pirates. It's Eat All Your Vegetables Day and National Apple Strudel Day. Happy birthday to Venus Williams, who's 45. Will Forte is 55. Barry Manilow, 82. Jody Whittaker, 43. Greg Kinnear, 62. Amari Cooper, 31. Newt Gingrich is 82. And on this day,
he probably thinks he's neat.
In 1943, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Secretary of War, Henry Steinson, phones then Missouri Senator Harry S. Truman and politely asks him to stop inquiries about a defense plant in Pasco, Washington. He told him that the Pasco plant was, quote, part of a very important secret development. Fortunately, he did not have to go further. Truman replied, being a veteran and a patriot, understood immediately what was going on. And he interrupted him, saying, if you have to say, you do not have to say another word to me to continue. Whatever you say that is something highly secret to me, that's all I wanted to hear. If the plant is for a specific purpose and you know what it is and it's all right, that's all I need to know. He replied, that was only unique. Well, Truman would later use that product from that plant to end World War II. And that is this day in sports history.
All right. It's time for your lucky local winning word here this morning. Your chance to win $500. We're going to give away $500 today and Thursday. Then we'll give away $2,500 a week from Thursday at the Soggy Dog there at 50th in Frankfurt. It's all courtesy of the Home Zone and Double T 97.3, the Home Zone, making your house a home. They want you to go to their home, right? They're at 50th in Indiana, but they also want you to go to our home website, doubleTSportsNetwork.com. and enter this word so that you can win and be qualified to win. Eagles. Eagles is the word. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles. Eagles is your lucky local winning word here at 6:52 this morning. Okay. Let's see. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Philip 66 works out of Bartlesville. Chuck, not Oklahoma City. I should know. I work for them. Okay, well, good for you. This, Chuck, not much. Still repeating yourself, but I love you anyway. Oh, thank you. This, Chuck can't help himself. ... To what? Like more chips, more barbecue, another slice of pizza, some extra French fries. This, Chuck, 3 weeks ago, you were all hot and bothered because Grant McCaslin was voted the most lovable coach on campus. I don't remember that. Yesterday, you were getting worked up about Mike Leach in the Men's College World Series. Today, you are hopping mad about the Little Dribblers program that Oklahoma City has built. Is the heat getting to you, or are you always fired up about nothing? There was probably some of that. I don't remember being hot and bothered because Coach McCaslin was voted the most lovable. Do you remember that? I don't really remember that.
I can't remember exactly what your take was on that.
Okay. I don't know if I had a take on that. And then somebody posted a picture-in-picture, which Jamie talked about, with OJ and the NBA game. And then there was I do recall a split screen as well.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Appreciate the sarcasm this morning from various ones of you. Good morning, Chuck. I'm Nancy here with the Little Dribblers of Oklahoma. I apologize. I'm on speakerphone with the kids now at practice. We're just calling to get your support of our youngsters. Script continues. Now ask for money, then say thank you. Okay. Thank you, Nancy. This from Brett G. I understand this, but I think elderly people are more considerate than most. Some elderly people can't hear a conversation through the headset and use the speakerphone instead. My late in-laws fell into that category. Yes, but I don't think they would go on and 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 on. Okay. I just don't think they would.
I'm just going to...
You're going to hang up and listen?
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Oh, you think it's rich? Probably coming from me. Yeah, that's probably some fairness to that. Okay. Jamie, a judge has actually said no to a college athlete. Okay. So far. We'll see how long it lasts. And this is important because if this particular judge had acquiesced to this particular player from Tennessee, it would have opened up the door potentially for Elijah Hawkins to get a fifth year at Texas Tech. Because what this is related to, this was last Thursday, this federal judge denied Tennessee point guard Zakiya Ziegler's request for a preliminary injunction that would allow him to play a fifth season of Division I basketball in 5 years. The judge wrote that Ziegler failed to demonstrate he would likely succeed in his argument that the NCAA keeping him from playing a fifth year of Division I basketball is a violation under the Sherman Act. Okay. So I don't have the Sherman Act just off the top of my head. Jeff, do you have the Sherman Act off the top of your head? I've got it right here, but do you recall the Sherman Act off the top of your head?
I do not.
Okay. Basically, the Sherman Act was passed in 1890. It was designed to promote competition and prevent monopolies in the marketplace. nothing about the NCAA or players getting a fifth year or anything like that. It also, among the key provisions, prohibited contract combinations or conspiracies that restrain trade or commerce, prohibited monopolization, attempts to monopolize, and conspiracies to monopolize any part of trade or commerce. Okay, so I think that it's probably a good thing for her to say that it's not a violation of that. He also, though, is the judge also said that his argument that he would suffer can be addressed with a future damages award.
Suffer? How would he suffer?
Because he could make $2 to $3 million this next year if he played a fifth year. Well, sure, if everybody gets a fifth year, then you're going to get more money. The judge, though, did ask Ziegler's attorneys to file a quick brief answering whether or not Ziegler is an intercollegiate athlete as defined under state law and what legal standard applies to Ziegler's claim under the Tennessee Trade Practices Act. In other words, this is not over. So the question now becomes is, would you want athletes to be able to have 5 years, and you get 5 years to play 5 years, and there's no red shirt or injury or anything like that. You just get 5 years to play 5 years.
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
No.
Okay. You're fine with the 4 plus the red shirt, and if they get injured, to apply for an injury case.
Because if we go 5 to play 5 and somebody gets injured or whatever, we're just going to change it and let them stay again. And
yeah, we're
just going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they'll suffer if they don't, Chuck.
Right. She said this court is a court of law, not policy. What the NCAA should do as a policy matter to benefit students and athletes is beyond the reach of the Sherman Act and TTPA, and by extension, this court.
It's just crazy that nobody ever wanted these extra years. Nobody ever felt like junior college shouldn't count when we were working hard to get another free year of college to finish our degree. Nobody ever cared about them suffering them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Suffering. Yeah.
But now that they can make $1 million to stick around, education be darned. Now we're suffering.
We're suffering, yeah. Because
nobody ever felt like an extra year would be valuable for these young men and young women to finish their degrees for free. Mm-hmm. But now we're suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody, please stand up.
Well, one judge
just
at least has
say no.
Momentarily.
It's okay.
I just wonder how long.
You're allowed to tell young people no sometimes. It's all right.
Yeah.
They will still live. They will be better for it in the long run.
No, as a high school student, you can't go to the college boy parties. Sorry. No. No, you can't go on a car date when you don't know how to drive. Sorry. No, you can't drink alcohol even if mom and dad are present. Even if the restaurant says it's okay. No, sorry. I mean, we've lost our ability to say no. Right?
We've lost our guts.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, I see it all the time, man. I mean, the world is not made for it to work out for you and your kid every second. Okay? You learn from waiting your turn. You learn from, having to deal with adversity. You learn from, putting your time in. I just don't get it. No, I just... Nobody wants to pay a price anymore. Yeah. Just because they didn't put your kid on the varsity as a freshman doesn't mean you should move to a different school.
Yes.
Okay?
Honey, we're packing up and we're moving to blah, blah, blah.
You're not the starting quarterback. We're out of here. We're headed to a private school. We're headed to a small school.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to stick around. No.
I'm not going to fight it out here.
God forbid we learn from watching others and learn it's not always about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm. It's...
Nobody cared to give these kids an extra year of education, but gosh darn it, we need to give them an extra year of $2 million. Suffering. How do they even use the word with a straight face?
I don't know.
How are college athletes today? And we're not talking about college athletes that are running track or playing volleyball or baseball. We're talking college athletes that are playing football and men's basketball.
Those are the two.
And we're talking about them suffering?
And bringing up the Sherman Act, for God's sake. I mean, the Sherman Act.
I don't even know how you can ask me the question with a straight face.
Right.
What has happened to us as a society?
We're weak. The Sherman Act. The Sherman Act. I had to look it up. It's like, but it is what it is. Let's see.
That was a fun segment.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
What did I tell you yesterday? It was silly that you let your blood get boiling and your blood rate or your heart rate go up over sports things. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Chuck, this morning I'm at the office and I have the morning drive on my phone speaker. If you were in my office, would I get the look? Well, you're in your office, so that's okay. Bobby Hot Dogs. I also listen to the morning drive, TMD, through external speakers in my office with my door open. Would I get a menacing glare from Chuck as he walked by my office? Menacing. Why are we talking about the Sherman Act? I just want to get my turkey sausage. Yeah. Got it all covered this morning here. Stand tall on your soapbox.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Karnak was a Johnny Carson bit, Jamie, where he would predict what was in the envelope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a city in Texas, so I was confused why. What Karnak meant.
Yeah, you had that look. I was like, he doesn't know Karnak.
Sorry.
Did you know that it was a town in Texas?
Did not know that was. Do they have the internet there that they can listen on the Double T 97.3 mobile app?
I'm sure they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Presented by Happy State Bank?
I'm sure they do.
Okay.
All right. I do have a question for you today.
Okay.
Since we're kind of in that mode of wrapping up the 2024-25 sports year. Mm-hmm. For the Red Raiders, my question for you today is...
This is a tough one. I can hear it in your voice.
In order, give me your top 3 Texas Tech highlights.
Oh, boy.
Top 3 plays of 2024-2025.
Oh, plays. Now we're at plays.
Well, highlight.
Or games or something like that?
I don't want it to be a game. I want it to be a play. Do you want me to go first? Want to make it easy for you guys?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want to steal your answers, though.
Just trying to think of one.
Okay.
Well,
number 3 on my list. Mm-hmm. Damian Bravo's walk-off home run against UCF on Saturday. Okay? That was the Red Raiders' only walk-off win of the 2025 season.
Okay.
Number 2 on my list, which is probably maybe the most important one, is Michaela Garcia's steal of home in the Women's College World Series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay? That would be number 2 on my list. That was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Extremely cool. Number 1 on my list, I go back to football season. I go back to the game against Oklahoma State. I go back to Taj Brooks running down the right sideline with Jalen Conyers running with him, and they high-five each other as they run into the end zone. That is my number 1 Texas Tech highlight.
Damn you, Jamie.
The 2024-2025 athletic season.
That was absolutely my number 1. Absolutely.
I told you I didn't want to go first. I didn't want to steal your answer.
You're good. It took me a minute to figure out others. That was the one I had off the top of my head. The steal home was good, but I'll take the final out against Oklahoma.
Okay.
In the College World, because that was the slaying of the dragon.
And that was the walk-off game, right? Wasn't that the walk-off against Oklahoma?
Yes.
with Allred sack fly to
Yeah,
score
and score the run. Yeah, that
Davis,
final
maybe?
just moment, that slaying the giant dragon that is Oklahoma softball was bigger to me than beating Texas in Game 2 of the finals. Not that Texas isn't its own giant, but when you think of softball,
if you'd have won one more, the Texas game would have been bigger, but you didn't. So
yeah,
I get it.
The third one, I hate to do this, but you got to point out history. Taj Brooks breaking the record. Like, that's not something that happens. I mean, all-time rushing leader, Taj Brooks, happened this year.
Who did you do it against? I can't remember. Colorado?
Last game of the year.
Last game of the year. So that would have been West Virginia.
West Virginia.
See, I feel like that record is tainted.
You can.
I may be the only one that campaigns for Byron Hanspard because Hanspard's bowl records weren't included and Taj Brooks's were, and I just don't think that's fair. To me, Byron Hanspard's still the all-time leading rusher at Texas Tech. I think what Taj Brooks did was outstanding, and him staying in school and staying here, blah 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 blah. But the fact that Byron's records aren't included, it makes me feel like he should be the all-time leader.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I think play number one for me is game number one of the old football season with your stop of the 2-point conversion against Abilene Christian, because that was heart-pounding. I mean, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't what we wanted, but that would have been a disaster if you'd have lost that game. Okay. I'm gonna steal Jamie's steal a home. I think that was huge. And with regard to, there's got to be something in men's basketball that really kind of just stands out. But I maybe the flagrant foul on JT Toppin that led to the ejection of Grant McCaslin that led to a spirited comeback by the Red Raider basketball team against Houston.
Fun moment.
You could go with this one if you're looking for a hoops one.
All right, 14 on the shot clock, 17 on the big clock. Darian Williams goes to get the ball, rumbles to his right, starts the back-end process, gets in, spins to his right, goes up, layup, good! 7.3 left! DJ Wagner up the right side, Red Raiders by 2, 3, 2, Wagner, is he going to get rid of it? He throws it up, it's no good! It's no good! The Red Raiders are on their way! On their way! Keep your dance shoes on, baby! Texas Tech's in the Elite Eight! Oh, my goodness!
That's a good one. Yeah, that's
that game I would definitely have as the top 3 game of the season for Tech sports.
Beating Arkansas. That was the Arkansas game, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 85-83 in overtime. There at the Chase Center. That was a good question, Jamie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I can't get behind your ACU one.
Okay.
I mean, because
you can't.
No. I mean, did you feel great after? Were you like, yes? You're like, we avoided embarrassment.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean,
like, it wasn't a moment of celebration. It was a moment of
relief.
Yes. Well, that to me doesn't say favorite.
Okay. Well, I'm just.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're allowed to have your opinions. I'm just saying I can't get behind that one. That one surely did not feel like a great moment to me.
Taj broke the record against Colorado, according to a couple of texters, the record that they listed.
The record that they listed, is there a different one?
Steal a home, Darian Williams game-time shot against Arkansas, Taj and Jalen high five. Oh, that was good. High five touchdown. That was really good. Yeah, that was good.
It was. That's why I made my number 2.
Yeah.
It was Jamie's number 1. But Chuck wasn't really listening.
Well, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what you guys were talking about. That's my bad. Oh, well.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
3-2 pitch. Hit high in the air to right field. That ball traveling. Adios, muchacha! Tony! Touch 'em all, baby! 2-1, Red Raiders. She did it.
Getting your sports day started the right way. The Morning Drive on Double T 97.3 and Double T97.3.com.
8:02 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. Great to have you amongst us today on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to Double T973.com for that of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Somebody feels like I just jinxed it. Now we're going 6-6. That'd be a disaster.
Not just one somebody.
Gosh.
Well, I mean, there's only one.
You're already planning parades.
I'm not.
Yes.
I didn't plan any parade.
You didn't.
No, I just wanted to make sure that I had my seats on the east side there for the home playoff game. Just was curious how that was going to go.
6-6. Here we come.
Will we get a flyer or a communique via email? Probably, maybe a phone call. And then I was thinking, I thought this would be. It would not go over well, but I would embrace it. That if in your season ticket package, that no matter where the bowl game was, you just had a, $75 ticket thing attached to it for a bowl game ticket, and help contribute to the cause.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess the large majority of folks that are buying season tickets are also going to the bowl game.
No, but I mean that would eliminate the need for last minute bowl season tickets. I mean, just go ahead and tack a bowl ticket on there at $75 a piece, and on down the road we go. So wherever we're going, you got a bowl game ticket. The problem is that there's some places where you don't get that allotment. Like you'd have plenty of seats at the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl, but at the Rose Bowl you may not get 30,000 tickets.
Maybe so.
And that'd be a little bit of a problem. I know we look at this quite a bit, and Rob Bro went to the trouble of going through this, and you can go to doubletsportsnetwork.com to see this. But he said he did an article on, and the headline is "Landing Spots for the 18 Transfers Who Left Texas Tech," which I thought was interesting because I heard him talking about it yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I wonder where some of those guys went. And I guess when you look at it, you think, okay, well, you get why maybe you didn't want to lose Joseph Adedire because he would have been good depth, but he was the guy that just used to playing a lot, and with the people that you brought in,
he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, when he wasn't hurt, but with the guys that you brought in, probably wasn't going to get a lot of playing time. But he went to North Carolina State, so that's Power 4 school. Ty Buchanan, an offensive lineman, he went to Arizona. Devin Cromwell, he's going to Michigan State. Dalton Merriman, an offensive lineman, he went to Houston. Sammy Morris's baby boy, Sammy Morris IV, is going to Abilene Christian. He'll probably get to play a lot there, would be my guess. I wasn't going to get to play a lot here.
Okay.
And then Isaac Smith, an edge rusher, he's going to go to Michigan State as well. So by and large, for the most part, they went to, I don't want to say lesser schools, but schools that weren't as high up the food chain as you are. Now, you could make the case that Michigan State is at your level, and not necessarily North Carolina State, but I mean, and Arizona certainly.
Kind of with North Carolina State too. I mean, we played them recently.
No, I'm counting North Carolina State. Yeah, I'm counting North Carolina State, and then Sterling Porcher is going to Vanderbilt, so probably had to have some good grades to get into Vanderbilt in addition to some football prowess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, an SEC school.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think for the most part they're equal or just as good as Texas Tech.
Yeah, but I mean, some went to NIU, North Texas, North Dakota State. I mean, they've won. Jalen Peoples went to North Dakota State. I mean, they've won a lot of ball games there. I mean, they're not at your level. They're FCS, not FBS. But I mean, Jordan Brown's going to go to Nevada. Brady Boyd's going to go to Utah State. That's kind of back in his home area. So, but you can go through the list if you'd like. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com. There's another article up, and this is, and I'm curious as to how he got this information. Maybe he just went over there. But Don Williams put together through Coach Joey McGuire a depth chart going into the summer and going into, I guess, the fall practices.
I think you're confused on Brady Boyd. I'm not sure who you're thinking of, but he's a Metroplex kid.
Oh, is he? Okay, then I'm confused on that. Yeah. So that's my bad. But when I looked at the depth chart, one of the things that stood out to me was how high up the food chain Micah Hudson was already. You know, they list him behind Reggie Virgil at the X position. Okay. So that means he must have come in and already done quite a bit of work to get himself back into good graces. I mean, we know he's talented, right?
No question. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he was
a 5-star.
Yeah, rated like he was.
He's been hurt and things like that. And Reggie Virgil still is not 100% healthy. They don't expect him to be 100% healthy until the end of July. He's listed as the starter right now. I think it's good to see your big studs up there at the top of Coy Aiken and Caleb Douglas. I think it's interesting that John Carlos Miller is listed as the starting tight end because he was the guy that moved over to defense for the bowl game.
Even before the bowl game.
Even before the bowl game, yeah. And Terrence Carter is listed as his backup. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What comes as no shock to you, Jamie, and I'm being a little facetious here, but Baron Morton's listed as a starting quarterback. Just want you to know that.
Okay.
No shock there.
I don't think anybody's surprised.
Yeah, no shock there. Yeah, no shock.
How about you tell us who the starting running back is listed as?
It's Quentin Joyner.
That would be more in question, right? But I think that most assume that that's Quentin Joyner's job to lose. Probably wouldn't have come here unless he was told he probably would be the starter.
Yeah, and Will Hammond is right now listed as the backup to Baron Morton.
Also not surprised.
Not surprised. But it'll be interesting to, like, that running back spot. You know, what if one of those other guys gets hot, you know? Or maybe what if Quentin Joyner gets hot and the other two guys may not see the field very much?
I mean, any of it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think they're all talented. They all could bring something to the table. So hopefully we'll see all three of them get hot.
Yeah, what a great problem to have, right? Mm-hmm. If you had that problem.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.